today's video, we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're trying to throw around some ideas of like what should we bring up nowadays? I know there's some things going on in the news right now with a couple of movies that came out with Indiana Jones and the Sound of Freedom. So we weren't too sure if we should touch on that just yet. And there's some things that's going on in the news, but I think we've decided to change things up today a little bit. Tracie is going to do a tarot card reading, and this would be my second one. The first one was done at a work event, and I only had probably 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I doubt it, but it was real quick, and she was just telling me all kinds of different things. I still have her notes from what she said. So this go around, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to do the tarot card reading. So Tracie said you're going to do a 5-card pull.
Yeah, I'm going to do a reading for you, and then I'm going to do a reading for everyone else.
So I'm going to be her guinea pig. So fingers crossed. Do we do that? Fingers crossed. Hopefully some good information comes through. So then after that, we're going to do the 5-card pull. And on top of that, Tracie has agreed to still do a channeling afterwards to see what comes through after the readings and see what comes through in the channeling and mix it up a little bit, spice it up and change things up a little, So she agreed to the idea, and I think it's going to be interesting,
Yeah.
And
before this one with my eyes open.
Yeah, you don't have to close your eyes this go around,
Hey, let me look. It feels weird to not close my eyes.
Unless you can just read those cards with the eyes closed.
Yeah. Next time. Okay, do you have your question?
Yes. So what are some of the popular questions people ask when they have a session with you? Because Tracie does sessions for people for tarot card readings. So what's some of the questions people ask you, like what they want to know? Are they trying to find love or something, or
a lot of times people, love and work are probably the most popular for the tarot readings.
All right. Well, I already found the love of my life, so I'm good.
Aw, Karen, are you listening?
Check.
Okay.
Job.
Yeah, so about work. A lot of times it's about a relationship or a direction. What direction should I go? Is money going to get better? What are the things that are some changes they're trying to make, just to make sure they're feeling like they're going the right direction. Okay. So typically I do a 30-minute or a 1 hour. Those are on my website as readings, not channels. So that's when I grab the cards. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this up a little bit. My eyes are going to be open, but your eyes are going to be down on the table so you can see the cards. How about that? Oh
man, that's a beautiful table. Is that oak? What is that?
Yeah, it's synthetic oak. Beautiful blend of sticky materials on a chipboard surface. No, I don't know. It's an IKEA desk.
Now, Tracie, don't forget about the podcast listeners. So just keep them in mind.
Oh yeah.
So when a card comes up, you're gonna have to tell them
what it looks like
and what it is.
Okay. So what did you want to focus on? You have the love of your life. So now
work. I'm not worried about that. I'm good.
So should we just see what starts popping up for Jason?
Yeah, I'm always interested in the future, and let's see what happens.
Okay. So we're just setting some intentions. What does Jason need to know at this time? What would be in the highest and best good for Jason to know? So I wait for the cards to do what they're doing. You're seeing them fall out on the table. And they're going to tell me a story. Interesting story.
So is that one card already?
Well, we've got some cards coming in.
Okay.
We'll get those where you guys can see them. And then I wait until I feel like I'm done. And that's going to be an intuitive hit. I feel like there's at least, oh, there we go. One more. Okay. So.
Pretty cool. This is interesting stuff.
Yeah, so we're going to pull more cards, but this is getting us the beginning of a story.
Okay.
So you're working really hard at something, but your hands feel tied somewhere. You can only do so much. But you keep trying to think about what can you do to make this turn out better. Now,
Seems
I
like
think
you already
we've
nailed it already.
Yeah, I think we've already talked about this, Jason and I did. Because here's the funny part. So you worked really hard, but your hands felt tied. You were trying to think of what's a better way to go. An idea comes to you, boom, all of a sudden you get this Empress card where everything's starting to flow and you're just one with nature over here. Let me hold these up a little bit more. So for those on the podcast, hopefully you're getting the gist of this. You're not seeing the pictures. I don't typically read a tarot deck in the fashion that exactly what the tarot might mean for it. I look a lot at the pictures as well.
Okay.
This card would also indicate a partnership. The 3 of coins here, that you're working with someone else, which Jason does real estate. So we're talking about one of his transactions, and these cards flow right into that. And you're no longer in the Hangman. You're no longer in pause. Or actually, no, you are, because you're waiting for next week to sign everything, right? So now you're just waiting to sign. Okay, so what else do we want to know about that? What else can you tell us about what's happening here with Jason?
What does Jason need to know?
What does he need to know?
But so far, the cards have nailed it so far. So that's pretty interesting. So the 3 coins, does that mean anything, like the 3 coins, like the partnership thing, like 3 partners?
Could be.
Okay.
Typically it'll say you could be working with others. I'm not going to remember it word for word because like I said, I tend to kind of go rogue. But for those that don't have the pictures, we got a gentleman working. He's branding these 3 coins, so it's showing him working. The second card is the 10 of swords, and it's a picture of a man with his hands tied, and these swords are around him. The next one, so Jason's working on something with others, but his hands felt tied. Then they came up with a new idea, the third card, where he's got this 4 of cups, and the 3 things in front of him weren't necessarily working, but then this 4th cup is coming from the heavens, all lit up and bright. So he gets his idea. Then we got this beautiful card growing. It is a woman holding a baby, and she is actually infused in this tree that is coming up very lush and thriving through the ground and surrounded by animals. So this new solution is bringing in this prosperity for him. But the Hangman, they haven't gotten to, in real estate, you have the day you go sign everything, right? So that's what we're waiting for.
That's where all the transactions happen.
Okay. We want more information. What else can you tell us?
So right now, Tracie is shuffling the cards, and I'm assuming when you shuffle the cards, you get a feeling of which card you need to.
If I pull one out, it's because I felt because it didn't go in the deck.
Okay, like
it didn't slide back into the deck. It kind of stuck out. But typically, I kind of wait for them to fall. So there is a decision. Now, this is something that could have already happened too. So you were kind of stressing out about things. Especially in that, wow, there's a lot to the story now. They're coming out like crazy.
Oh my goodness. What is that? 6, 7?
3, 6, 7, 8 cards for
oh my
the
goodness.
of the story, but we can't see some of them because they landed upside down. Oh no, there's more. There's another one down here. Okay. So we've got, let's go ahead and lay these out and see where we're at.
I didn't know you can pull so many cards.
You can do the whole deck. I've done that where I've given a whole deck reading.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of fun because it's just, you're just pulling It tells a story. This is like
Wow.
right
So right now
book,
there's
right?
8 cards on this. 8 or 9?
Wow. Fit. Okay, let's
9.
see. We're gonna split this up a little. This can go first. Did we get them all in yet?
Yeah. Just keep pushing them down.
Just keep pushing these things around. Jason's got a story. Okay, so we're starting here. Something was stressing you out. This is kind of a worry or betrayal even, but not in this case. I don't feel like you were betrayed by anything. I just feel like you were worrying and stressing about stuff, and that there was decisions to be made. Let me look at these cards and get the feel for them before I start chatting too much. And they're upside down for me, so I'm gonna just, oh, okay, let's see.
So right now there's 9 cards. It looks like there's a guy. The next one's a guy with a lantern, what it looks like.
Okay, so this one, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
This is the 2 of coins, so he's actually holding 2 coins, which means
2
he's going to
coins.
be making a decision. So we already talked about this scenario. Now you're in the waiting. The waiting might be what's stressful for you, but don't worry. I mean, it's kind of hard to like totally pull all of this in a story, but basically what I'm looking at right here says, don't worry, everything goes okay. Have some patience. You're going to have a victory.
Victory.
It just feels, I don't know if it feels like somebody, there's 2 pages in here, which is like a beginner, like somebody's a beginner at this, or this is their first time doing something.
Oh,
so
well,
it might have some
you got that right.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of got that energy around it, which makes it a little like, do they know what they're doing? And they, blah, blah, blah. But don't worry, that conflict's over, because I tend to not, I'll put all the cards upright and just ask them to tell me what they want me to know. I put the conflict card upside down, which means conflict is over. And then you've got this, this is the 7 of coins, which means you planted the seeds and your harvest is in. You did the work, you did the hard work, and now it's payday. So
you said harvest and planting seeds.
Yeah, your harvest is in. You planted the seeds.
That's funny, because that's what my friend said.
The harvest is in.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Cool. Yeah, we like this card. We like this card. They're showing you victory. Yeah, you've got a victory after, not necessarily a long battle, but you've got 5 other wands down there. This is like, this wasn't your first rodeo. You got a victory at the end of that. And then, but yeah, there was some new energy in there that made you a little bit nervous, or is making you a little bit nervous. And it's like, it's not done till it's signed, kind of a thing.
That's right.
And so they're asking you, just relax and be okay. It's going to be okay.
Perfect.
But yeah, so that's good news. Just relax. We understand it's not done till it's done. You're doing stuff you love. That's the Lovers card there right in the middle. Or maybe they slipped that in because you said you found the love of your life already, so they just put it in there. I don't know. But I would say this is also indicating you do work you love, and that even when it gets into these little places where there's uncertainties, that's part of the excitement of the job. And at the end of the day, when you get to close it all up and the money's where it needs to be, then that's pretty exciting. So it's just kind of it's kind of like if you were watching basketball and everybody made the basket real easy, that gets boring, right? So it's good to have a few things that make it exciting along the way.
Yeah, you can't make it too easy, right?
That's right. You don't want to make it too easy. So yeah, it's just really showing that everything's going to be okay. The money's, you're good. Your basket's full. Don't worry. And just this one's like, have a little patience. It's coming. So yeah, it's just telling you to sit back and relax. It's all coming in.
Patience is a virtue.
Patience is a virtue. Yeah. So that's your reading.
All right. So that was a little bit of an example of what Tracie does with the client. Tracie, just go into like what will be like a next thing that you would do with a client?
So there's a lot of different things that I do. If you were to pick up, if you wanted a tarot reading, I would use the cards. If you wanted an intuitive reading, like if you wanted me to do mediumship with a loved one, or if you were saying, you know, I've got some things going on, physical things going on, whatever it might be, I'd sit back and tune into that, bring in what I could find with that, like what's the emotions behind that.
Gotcha.
We do a lot of that kind of work in the QHHT where we're looking for, okay, you know, Julia's got her book, Soul Speak, the language of your body. So I wouldn't be doing it in a session like that because that's not the kind of session that is. That's me working with my client and let's talk it out and see where these symptoms are coming from. But if somebody came to me as an intuitive reading, you know, I feel like I've got lower back pain. Can you tune into that and figure it out?
Ah, gotcha.
I'm thinking about it and I can't figure out what it is. Then I would just go quiet and intuitively tune into them and ask the back, you know, where's the pain coming from? And then I just listen to my own body. A lot of times what'll happen is I'll be aware of my body and they'll bring in the emotion that's stuck there to me so that I feel it. And then that'll tell me what their emotion is.
Okay.
So
for the tarot card reading, I guess like let's say someone had a question about their future, the work related, that'd be one question. You'll pull some cards, and then if they have a different question, you just reset the board and just pull different cards for the next question.
Yeah. I pull the cards. As you can see, I have a lot of cards sitting over here. I'll give you an example. We're going to switch out some cards here, and I'm going to do what I call the 5-card pull. And I use 3 different decks of cards to do that.
And you do the 5-card pull twice a week?
No, I used to do it every Sunday, and then it just got too busy. Like my life got too busy. I tend to hold back on that a little bit. Now it's kind of like a hit and miss of when you're going to get it. And it's one of the things, I know that there are people that really enjoy the 5-card pull, but it is, the channeled messages get viewed way more than the 5-card pulls do, and they draw more traffic. So I'm sorry, sometimes I have to consider that too, that I could do that, or I could do a channel which will bring more traffic and probably bring you the same message just through the channel. Cards are fun in the sense that
it's interesting.
Do this. Yeah. So on this one, we're going to set the intention that we get information for the collective. And what I tend to do is I have these little cards that I made. I call them the Magic is Real cards, and I have my little Magic is Real quotes on them. And I use this as, no, these are not for sale. No, they're just so not professionally laid out that I would never sell them. But anyways, they're just for me. For when I do these, I ask for what is the intention for this reading? What is the overall message we'd like to get with this reading today? And I just sit here and shuffle these.
And when you say the collective, is that the collective watching and listening to this video, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the collective watching, and that it doesn't matter when they watch. Like if I made this today and then it's 3 years from now, somebody watches it, it's the message they needed. And 3 years from now. So it could be for today. It could be for.
It's like divine timing.
Yeah, you're going to find it when you need it. Okay, so our theme is changes in the air. Put out what you desire and step into co-creating that change. And this is a sunset picture that was taken on one of the streets near my house.
Oh, nice.
That's what that one is. Yeah. Looks like it anyways. Okay, so changes in the air is our theme, which we already know that's happening. That's been a message from Daniel for a couple of weeks now. We got a lot of change going on collectively.
Shoot, so, it seems like every week there's some kind of change going on.
We're not going to get out of this. I mean, think about it. Where's 5D? Where's 5D? And then when we hear changes going on, it's like, that seems like it's always in change. We're going to be in change for a very long time. So it's how we get through it. So I'm going to switch this again.
All right.
Back over here. Now the trick will be me getting 3 decks of cards laid out. So I do 5 positions. So I'll move the ones I'm not using out of the way. So 3 different decks, 5 positions. And we'll get that going. I want to shuffle them up, put my energy in them. Asking the deck of cards, show us what is in the highest and best good for the collective watching at this time.
All right, so right now Tracie is shuffling the cards. She already has 3 cards on the desk right now. Yeah. What's that, a galaxy on the back of the cards? An eye?
It's just kind of a
okay.
Decorative. Could be an eye.
Like a
To me, it looks
prism?
a little bit like a, like an eye. Could be. Okay. All right. So the first card is going to be how we go in. I'm doing them all face down at this point. The second position is going to be what we bring. The third position is what is it we don't know. Position is what is our action step. And the 5th position is going to be the outcome. So what Jason's watching me do now, for those of you that don't have the picture.
I feel like this is a card trick. Pay attention to the cards.
trying to make them look nice on the table because they can start getting scattery. All right, so this is a fairy forest card deck, and I'm going to ask them the same thing. What is it that would be good for us to know as a collective?
Okay, is that a different deck on that one?
Yep. Yeah, so this is a fairy forest deck.
Oh, okay.
It's got messages from the fairies. So this one's an oracle deck is what these. So I use 1 tarot deck and 2 oracle decks typically. So both the next decks will be oracle. And please
is there a big difference between the 2?
Oracle decks typically will be filled with positive messages for you. But again, I read the pictures, not what the booklet that comes with it says.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, they'll come with a book that tells you what is that card meaning for the author that created the deck. So anyone could get one of these and do a reading on themselves. They just read the definition out of the booklet that comes with it. So what I'm doing now is I'm lining up the 5 positions that I was telling you about. How we go into the week, what we bring, what's missing, or what is it we don't see. How do we, what's the action step and what's the outcome? So I have 2 different decks lined up. Now we're going to go with a 3rd deck of cards. This one I have the book or the thing right here with me. It is Gateways of Light, Activation by Kyle Gray is the next deck I'm using. That's the only one I have the box for in front of me, so I don't know the titles of the other 2. Okay, so I am asking for the cards and the highest and best good for the collective and the information we need at this time. All right, this is where my desk starts getting really short, small, because I'm trying to do. Oh, see this one, 2 of them stuck together. So I'm going to use.
You got to do both? I'm
going to do both. But I am going to ask this one to 2, but I need both on this one. I'm going to pendulum that. So when that happens, I like to make sure that was intentional on their part. So I bring out a little pendulum and I ask the pendulum, please show me yes. And everyone needs to do that because my yes might be different than your yes. Please show me no. Yeah. Okay.
So right now Tracie has a crystal out and she's waving it over the tarot cards. And
do we need both cards on this deck? Yes. Do we need both cards on this deck?
So she's waiting for the crystal to move.
Both of them. Yep. So they're both yes. Okay. So yeah, so right now I have 3 different decks, 5 positions, and now I'm going to pull position number 1. And I'm going to set this out here like this so that you can see what I see. So what we're looking at, so this one has writing on it. It says Akashic Records, clearing old stories, releasing past lives and freedom. This one, the fairy card says self-love. And then we've got this card, which has black crows in it, so it's kind of gives you that impression that you're clearing some old stories, but you're moving into calmer waters. Okay. So right here, we have these 3 beautiful cards telling us it's time to clear some old stories out. Well, the whole thing is about change, isn't it? So here we go. We've got self-love. You need to love yourself, respect yourself, clear out these old stories where you're not giving yourself the respect you deserve. And notice that you're going to start letting some things go and moving on to calmer waters. Okay, so that's how you're going into the week. All right. And we'll put this in here too, because our whole theme was about the change. This is how you're coming into the week. Look at that. Is that someone that needs to let go of old stories? We've got the 4 of Swords here. This is a time of rest. You need to take a little time to yourself. This is how you're coming into the week. You might feel tired. You might feel like you need to move yourself into isolation a little bit just to process and move some energy. A lot of times that will happen when we're going through change. This card, Sacred Inner Space. Look at that, going inward, sacred inner space. You can't make it up. These guys know what they're doing, right? So the sacral chakra, tenderness, sensuality. It's time to be easy on yourself. So this is how you're coming into the week. You need to be easy on yourself. Give yourself the space you need. And we've got the love fire, sensuality, fertility. Okay, so we got sensuality in here twice. It's time to get in touch with yourself. It's time to figure out, what do you need? What do you need? And it's time to give yourself the space and the focus and the nurturing that you need to figure out what is it that you need that's going to, and this is interesting because this did come up this week, talking to a group of people where it was time to, it's really time to take care of what do we need. Everyone else is getting what they want. Oh, that was in the Daniel journey that I did on Monday. It was about nurturing yourself. If you're one of those people that's always making sure everybody else has what they need, who's making sure you have what you need? And that's what this is saying. It's time to let go of these old stories that you're the only one that can take care of everyone else. And it's time to nurture yourself. Okay, so what is it that you don't know? Interesting. Okay.
So right now Tracie has 4 cards in her hand.
Yeah. So we got premonition, foreshadowing, and mystery. So here's what you don't know. Let's go back over here. You're letting go of this old story, right? You're letting go of that. But what you don't know, because you've been playing that record of the old story, is you don't know. Look at him. He's trying to look ahead, and the crows again are behind him. The feathers are floating away from him. In this picture, there's a man squatting on a hill looking over the edge. What you don't know is what's ahead. And that can be scary. When you're releasing old stories, you're no longer the victim. You're no longer playing these roles. You've got to reinvent yourself. And so there's the mystery. You don't know what that looks like. All you know is you're going to change, right? You've got this change coming. It's going to change. You don't know what that looks like. So we've got this, we've got this anchoring and grounding energy coming in. I was just telling Jason that we had that Pluto in Capricorn, which is a very grounding energy. So it's trying to help you. The universe is trying to help you. And this card's beautiful as well. It's this Egyptian looking Earth star activation. So there you go again, Earth star, grounding energy, Earth. It's got Jason's little Merkaba symbol. So, but you are being supported through this. Your team, your spiritual team. Oh, and here we go. Spirit guides, confirmation, great lessons. Your spirit team is coming through, and they're helping hold you up. They're helping you, guide you. And they're going to help you with these lessons that you're going through to let go of these old stories and step into something new and trusting. So here's the action step. Let's see if trusting comes in.
So far, it sounds like the collective has some interesting things going on.
Yeah, it's exciting though. Look at this outcome here. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Okay, so we got the Fool card. Some new beginnings are coming in because you let go of those old stories. Now something new can come in. Shining hope, future. Boom, right there. This is the action that's happening. You've got something really exciting coming into your future, but it doesn't feel good when we're letting go of old stories. So you don't know this yet because you're still in that unknown of what does that future look like. So here's a sneak peek. It looks really good. It looks really good. Stargate heart chakra opening, unlocking, generosity coming in. And then we got Toth light codes, light ignition or initiation, great teacher awakening, divine magic. Who doesn't want this stuff, right? This
Is
is
that a card of Toth?
yeah.
Uh-oh, check that out.
So we've got some heart opening, we got some initiation coming in. You've cleared.
Sarah.
It's like going to Goodwill, right? And you just dumped out your old closet and now you get to fill it up with new stuff.
Sarah would be proud.
Yes, she would. That's right. Okay, what's our outcome? What is our outcome? Okay, so we've got the Six of Cups, which is kind of like this is then your destiny. This is what you've been working towards. This is you growing up, moving into a new version of yourself and a very soulful version of yourself. Wisdom, hidden lure. So things that you didn't even know about yourself that you can do are starting to come to the surface. Your psychic gifts, your abilities, your knowingness, they're coming to the surface now because you've cleared out all of this lower frequency storytelling, victimhood, all the things, right? And then we've got supernova. Okay, we got renewal, we got rebirth. There's all kinds of beautiful stuff. Just walk through that door, right? But we got to get through that first. So,
wow.
Spoiler alert, it turns out really well. You're going to have this rebirth, this reignition into who you are, this light, this new light, what's activation going on. You've got the soul connection with your higher self going on. You've got a new beginning. New things are coming in, things that you've been wanting to create. So there you go. Your change is in the air. And it's looking really good. All
wow.
right.
Look at that, collective.
There we go. So
looking
that would be my 5-card pull. And if you do like those, I do put them on my YouTube channel. So head on over to Arcturian Daniel channel by Tracie Mahan, I think is what I titled it now. It's got a big long title. You'll find it. So I do those. I try to do them once a week, but I do have to say that I haven't been keeping up with that, but I do get them on there.
Very interesting stuff indeed. That was exciting. That was pretty cool.
They're fun, right?
So
now, here's a little secret. I can't pull cards for myself because I'm too attached to those answers. So why did I start pulling for the collective? Because my answers were in the cards. Because I wasn't reading for myself, I was reading for the collective. And I would always find what I needed in those answers. So that's why that started, you guys. I started pulling 5-card pulls for the collective because I started realizing that's how they were going to bypass my critical mind and get me my answers too. Because I didn't realize I was reading for myself.
Interesting. So if someone's interested in having a session with you for the readings for the tarot cards, what equipment is needed and what do they have to do to prepare for it?
So typically I do a Zoom call like what we're doing here. So computer with or phone
webcam
with ability. Yeah.
Or phone.
I record them.
Phone.
Yeah. So as long as you can get on Zoom, I can record them. If you cannot, then we can do a phone call as long as you are in the States and it's not a long distance call. We could do a phone call and then I can record it I could record the audio of that and then send them the audio so that they have it. It's really important to get the recording because you're not going to remember all of it. And I do not want you distracted with taking notes while I'm trying to give you a reading, because you're going to miss a lot if you're trying to take notes.
It makes you feel any better. I didn't take any notes.
I feel a lot better about that. Because you got the recording. And then guess what? You can go back and listen, because you are going to want to take notes, but then you can pause it and write down that one thing that was like, oh, I don't want to forget that part, and you want to write it down. You can pause it and then play again, so that you're not distracted during the actual reading when it's live. So yeah,
nice.
and
like I said, that was interesting when you mentioned the harvest, because that was the same kind of word that my friend used, because she's like here you are, you're working. He didn't say farm, but he kind of said like you work in the fields.
Yeah.
You plant your these roots to bear fruit and everything, and now you're trying to reap the rewards of your hard-earned efforts, the fruit of your labor. And
the good news is you didn't get the one where they're trying to watch it grow. You got the one where you're picking the fruit. So yeah.
So yeah, that was last year's conversation with him. So that was a while back, and he's right, because now with the closing and everything, so that should happen next week. So
very cool.
Be funny. Fun stuff.
Get some of those things taken care of, and it's going to feel so good to have that done. And
oh yeah, absolutely. So with the collective, that was pretty cool. So you pulled from 3 decks, and it was interesting how each card was connected to each other, even though it was like separate decks. Cards.
And that happens pretty much every time. It's like the 3 that are in the row, even though they're different decks, are kind of saying the same thing, or they're a complement to the other cards in some way. So yeah, and that's why it's fun to do it that way. And these are just some of the cards that I have here. I got this nice little stand to put them in, because it's so much easier to grab them out that way.
Yeah,
but I've got more in a cabinet behind the screen here, and yeah,
perfect.
There might be a little addiction to the cards. But.
Well, that was fun. I'm glad we did that. That was pretty cool. So, and if someone wants to have a session with you, they can go to your website.
Yep.
Or something like that.
That's going to be under the readings. So you're either going to want a 30-minute reading or a 1-hour reading if you want to do that. Have me pull the cards for you with your questions.
Perfect. All right. So next up, is there still time for that? You still up for it?
Let's
you
do a little bit of that and see what comes in.
Okay.
I'll start waving the white flag if it. I turn the air conditioner off.
You start doing one of these.
Setting. So you're gonna watch me melting, because I thought, okay, if the air conditioner is running, it's gonna be too loud. So I turned it off, and now the sun's setting right here, and what you can't see is this glowing window that's heating up my room really quick. It says it's still 96 degrees outside. So
really, I'm surprised it's that hot for where you at.
I know it. I don't know what the high was today, but I think it was like 98 or 99. So
it was 100 degrees for us today. It was 100.
Yeah. It was a good day to be inside with the AC. I like this warm. I love the summer, but I think I love the summer because it gets light out early and stays light out long. So you get the most out of your day. But
yes,
yeah, not necessarily that I want to be outside in the heat.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
On a boat or something. So I think it's okay. Okay, let's get Daniel and let's find out what he has to say. I may sneeze. That's what you're watching me try not to do.
Just say pink elephant before you sneeze. I'll stop you.
Pink elephant. Let's see if that works. All right. Let's see what Daniel has to say. We'll see if he comes in. See if he's got anything else to say about the change in the old stories, letting go of old stories. So accurate for pretty much all of us, I think, Sometimes we just have to tickle the nose to let her know we're waiting, we're waiting.
Come on, move it along.
Time to bring us in. We've been sitting on the bench. So now that we're in the game, it's good to see everybody. It's good to be here with everyone. And of course, we enjoyed the card readings as well, and how accurate that is, that everyone is going through something of a change. Some of you are going through quite big changes, in fact, and you're finding yourselves a little lost in that at this time. And we just want to reassure you again, it's just as the card said, there is something great coming for you. So don't fall into the worry and the fear and the desperation of some of the change that is happening. It is good to remember that you are going to be taken care of. You're going to be okay. And for a lot of you, you need to start paying attention. There are people rallying for you. There are people that are coming forward for you during this time. And it's time to appreciate that and look at that and step away from what you feel like is happening to you. Step away from that for a little bit and just start to look at what are the good things that are coming of this event that is taking on in your life. What are the good things that are coming? Who are you around? What do you see? Who's coming forward? What changes are being made? Are you needing to move now? Are you needing to find a new way of being in this life, reinventing yourself? We talked about that a little bit too, going into the reinventing yourself because you're letting go of that old story and you're bringing in the new one. And so enjoy that ride as best you can. How many times have you gone through a spell of change, and at the other end of it, when everything is finally said and done, you know where your feet are landing and you can take a breath again, and then you look back and you think, gosh, if I had only known this was going to be here, I would have enjoyed that time that I had where there was a little bit of a low. And we say, do that. Enjoy that time that you have where there's a little bit of a low because something great is coming, but you're also going to pick up again and it's going to be busy. So enjoy the time you have in the best way that you can. And that is also going to amplify and manifest much, much quicker. And so with that, Jason, we just wanted to put our 2 cents in with your card reading, if you don't mind, but we would like to know, do you have any questions for us today?
Well, we didn't write down any questions. We didn't come up with anything. So we're going to shoot off the hip. And first off, we're going to say, is there anything you would like to share with us? Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
What we want to talk about, we want to give this a name. There is a star energy that is coming in. There's a what do we want to say? A few months back, Tracie experienced the energy of the Lemurian star, and there was a great shift that was going on during that time. There is another star energy that we're not quite sure what name to give it for the collective, because the collective likes to have its names, right? But there is a star frequency that is coming in that is much like that Lemurian frequency. It is a more feminine in nature. It is bringing in a soft and gentle feeling, a nurturing feeling, because it's time for the world to be nurtured. It's time for people to take care of themselves. In one of the cards, you saw the woman who was curled up and she was in that little nest and she was taking care of herself. She was taking time to herself. And this is something that is very important, this nurturing. There are so many people in this world that didn't get that nurturing that they needed as a child, whatever the case was. Both parents had to work or whatever traumatic story there was behind childhood. And there are many, many traumatic stories behind childhood, right? But even if you were in a wonderful family where you look back and you say, I know I was loved by both my parents. I know that that was happening, but maybe there was a lot of siblings and there wasn't enough time for each and every one of you to get a lot of nurturing. Maybe there was a lot of chores to be done. Maybe there was other circumstances at hand. And so it is good to look again as this card deck. We're just going to keep feeding off of that. The card deck is telling you, what is it that you need? What is it that you need right now to feel good, to feel safe, to feel in your power, What do you need? Don't look at what you don't have or what's going on or what's collapsing or what's causing fear or disillusionment for you. That one card with the gentleman at the edge of the cliff looking out like he doesn't know what his future is, and it feels like it's just going to drop off and he's just going to fall, right? And so we want you to think about, what is it that you would need to feel safe? What nurturing, what compassion, what kindness, what structure do you need? How are you feeling right now? How are you feeling as you go through your change, as you go through your adjustments, as you go through transitions of the planet? What would it look like if all these constructs collapse? That's going to be a time of change, isn't it? If your bank systems collapse and your medical systems collapse and your government systems collapse and all of the collapse. These things are being restructured. We are doing the best we can to work with humanity in restructuring faster than, as one's collapsing, there's already something else in place, is what we are intending to help with. This is not all on us. This is up to humanity as well. But it is all in the works, and to create the best transition ever, right? And so that you don't go down in the history books as another Great Depression. But we want to move you in these directions. Be ahead of the game. Don't fall into the victim. Don't fall into the woe's me, and don't fall into the poverty. We want you to look at, what is it that I can structure for myself moving forward that will help support me? What do I need? How do I want to feel as I'm moving forward? And even when the calamity is happening around you, you could feel safe and you can feel like you are being taken care of and everything is okay. And this needs to happen so that newness can come in. So you see, there is a lot in that card reading, wasn't there? There's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes that are here to support you. And we want you to be focused on that. We want you to remember something is going on behind the scenes and something great is coming out of this change. Something good is going to happen with this thing that I'm going through. So, Jason, do you have change going on in your life?
I think so. I think all the time something's changing.
Well, that makes sense, right? Every day is a new day.
That's right. Every day is a new day.
And sometimes it doesn't feel like it's always going your way, does it?
Correct. Yes.
And so it's important to remember that there is always tomorrow, right? There is always a new idea. In your deck of cards, there was the gentleman with the 3 cups sitting next to him, and then the golden, bright, shiny cup that was coming out as this brand new idea. These cups over here, they aren't working. Oh, but this beautiful new idea is coming in. And so doing the thing that you've always done wasn't going to work for you anymore. Something new fell into place, and it was better than you could have expected, right? So
True.
good outcomes
yes.
from that, yes.
Yes.
But there was a moment where it didn't look very certain, did it? And there was a time where you were wondering, what's going to happen now? Oh boy, how much is this going to take? What are we going to have to do to shift? And it felt like a burden. It felt like it was going to be a big issue, a big problem. But more and more, as you run into something, as something is not working, just sit back for a moment and think about it. And what is a better idea? Ask your team, your councils, your star beings. Ask this nurturing star, we'll just call it that, right? The nurturing star to come in and show you a way to calm yourself, to get what you need. But it is very important when you get startled by these things to go into, why do you feel this way? Where is this energy coming from? Where is this story coming from? There's those stories you need to release, right? Where's this story coming from that I'm not okay? Where's the story coming from that this is going to be detrimental? Where's the story coming from that bad things are happening? Let those go. You'll find them. They're in your history somewhere. Somebody taught you that trick to get scared and worried and the whole world's collapsing around you and devastation is happening. And so
maybe it was the news.
Maybe it was the news. Yes. Maybe it was the news. Maybe it was the religion. Maybe it was a lot of things. So
that's true.
So it is good time to reassess and recalibrate your way of thinking. what is supporting you and what is not. And so what a beautiful idea to have the readings first so that we could play on that, and you all have the visual, the cards to look at and to go back and listen to that again, or do whatever you need to do with that to help you get that mindset that I'm going to be okay. They told you the ending in the cards, right? It looks pretty good. New things coming in, new beginnings are starting, and a fresh new you is starting to surface from that. And you're going to get to reinvent yourself in a way that's even more fun than you already were. And so those are good things. So that is part of what we would like to say. Do you want us to expand on that at all?
Well, it sounds like having the card reading was a good idea from what it sounds like.
Well, the genius idea comes in because you opened your mind and said, okay, well, we didn't really write questions. What else could we do? And you had this brilliant idea. And it was another example of how you paused and you allowed for a thought to come in. So very, very beautiful way to change things up a little bit. Theme of the whole thing, right? Change. So you even changed the way you're doing the show.
That's right. That's true.
You brought in something new that brought in another way of looking at things and still gives you the same information, but you're looking at it from a different perspective. So everything about your show was probably more orchestrated than you even thought, as it all plays into this way of looking at things differently. Change what you're doing, change how you're looking at it.
Nice. Very nice. You mentioned the Lemurian star. You had any more information on that? Like, what is that?
There was a wave of Lemurian energy that was coming in at the beginning of the year. It lasted for a few months for you, and it's still there. The energy is still there, but people are acclimated to it now. And so these star energies, what they're showing us is this secondary bright star coming in with that nurturing energy. It is a time where it is important to remember to take care of yourself. It can be stressful if you allow it to be. The world is going through a lot of things, and a lot of things are coming into that disclosure, if you will, the things that you talked about before in other episodes where it was time for truths to come out. And there's a lot of things that people are looking at and dealing with and trying to understand. And there's a lot of manipulation, if you will, of society and expenses and the cost of your living and how you're going to navigate through that. And that can be stressful for a lot of you.
And absolutely.
Yes. And so we just want you to say, let go of these constructs, let go of those stories. You are well taken care of, and start thinking about what you truly need. And what it's doing is it's backing you out of consumerism. Because as the prices are going up, you can't afford as much. So then you start thinking about, well, what do we really need? And so your focus is more on what do you need versus what you want. And it's not to say you're not going to be able to go back to what you want, but it's here to help point out your priorities of what you need. You overconsume, you over purchase, some of you have homes filled with things you'll never use, or you use it once and then it's in the garage, right? And so it's like,
yes,
how many things do you need? And it's time to simplify. It's time to break some things down. We would ask many of you that are reacting to that right now, if you have things that you don't use, it might be a good time to go through and do a little clearing of the house, donate a few things. When you donate things, it helps open the flow back up into your home. So if it's time to thin out some of the closet or some of the storage spaces and get rid of some of the things that you're no longer using, or you haven't even, it's like, oh gosh, I didn't even know I had that. I must put that back here in 2005. That's time for that to go, right? Then you don't need that anymore. And how many times have you packed something up and then you never really unpacked it, and it's still sitting in a box and you still haven't unpacked it? You don't even know what's in that box. You don't care. You've moved on. What would happen if it just disappeared? And so it's time to move some things out and simplify. And the more that you simplify, we think the more you're going to find the flow of exactly what you want is going to come to you. when all the clutter is out of the way. It is very metaphorical, right? It's like the mind gets cluttered, the home gets cluttered. So if you're clearing out the home, then you're clearing out the mind. And you're giving yourself that metaphor through the physical and the mental state. And you're going to be able to find yourself moving very easily into whatever is next, whatever is meant for you. We have, Tracie has run into a few people over the last couple of weeks who could literally put all of their possessions in a small U-Haul trailer and the back of a car and head out. And that's all they have, because over the years they have simplified and condensed their life down to the necessities, right? And we know that is not for everybody, but it's to think about what is it that we actually truly need. Everything else is that luxury, right? And so it's bringing you back to your basics, and then you'll be set free again to explore the world with a full pocketbook. But for some of you, it's time to just really look at what is it that you need. For others of you, this is to heal a part of you that has been living in lack. So see, we have two separate things going on there. One, we're bringing you back to simplifying, and two, we want to heal you from a lack mentality, a time when you didn't have a lot of money, because it's bringing back those memories and those hardships and what it was like to not be able to do the things you wanted to do, to travel the way you wanted to travel, and so on and so on. But what we think you're going to find is that you're going to be able to do all the things that were important to you. You're still going to be able to do those, but you're going to simplify and step away from some of the extravagance that was unnecessary, that didn't serve you well. And you're going to be able to find your balance in there. So we invite everybody to step into that thought a little bit and see where they might want to make adjustments, and where they might want to clear some things out and donate them, or just release them and let them go and be repurposed somewhere else in the world. Any questions around that?
Clearing stuff out and donating stuff out. I've been doing that for the past couple of years, so that's right on point. And we still got probably a bunch of stuff to get rid of and donate. So that process did not slow down.
So we ask you, do you miss any of it?
No. Yes. No, and feels good.
It does feel good, because then new things can come in, and you make space and you make room for it.
Absolutely.
And yes. Beautiful.
Well, with that being said, we talked a little bit about the future a little bit. So we talked about change. Do you see anything else that for 2024 that's going to come up? Is it going to be rougher, more exciting? And the other thing, if you wanted to touch base on, you already talked about it once before, but we did have a whistleblower that did come through from the Pentagon. And you touched on that once before, that more information is going to come forward about UFOs and so on. And how do you see things coming to light, with these whistleblowers coming forward, the pictures, the videos, the communities, the documents, the government documents? How do you see this kind of playing out for humanity in the future, whether it's this year or next year?
Yes. The words that come to us is it's going to become quite popular. Not only are these whistleblowers going to get their recognition, and it feels like even if they try to debunk them or try to downplay what they are saying, more will come forward. It feels like there's a strength in numbers, is what we want to say, a strength in numbers. More will come forward. And as we look at this, 2024 will be information that cannot be denied. That's how we want to say 2024 will bring forward things that cannot be denied. And the structure that you have once known, you will never be able to look at it the same. The things that you always believed to be true, and then you find out that they've never been true. There are a lot of things out there that have been manipulated throughout the years in your world, in your reality, and a lot of light will come to that. A lot of information that is fun too, though. So let's not get focused on the demise of things. But yes, there are constructs that will crumble under the session that we did earlier today. We talked about the Great Crumble, and that is why Jason is bringing this up. We talked about the Great Crumble with the client, and there is this truth that cannot be denied that's going to come forward, and then things will start to crumble. Now, it's not going to be, and since we had the tarot cards, it's not going to be the tower moment where it all just, crashes down, boom. It is going to crumble, but we're going to do it at a pace that is palatable. We don't want you to suffer. And we're trying, like we said, we're trying to help behind the scenes to put up structures that are going to help you, like as one's coming down, the other one's going up, not one comes down and then you've got to figure out how to rebuild another one. We want it to balance each other out.
Kind of smooth out the process, not too much all at once.
Working at that. Do you have a team here that is working at that with you, or with us and with you as a collective? There are really good beings out there that are working with these constructs and with these to implement these new ways of being. It is going to be an eye-opener for a lot of you. It's building up and it's building up. It's already happening, but it will be undeniable at some point here in the very near future. We'd like to say 2024, but there are things that are already coming out, that are already being discovered, that are already starting this process. So for some, it'll be sooner than that. And they'll be like, I thought it was supposed to be 2024. I'm figuring this out now. And for some of you will. So it's hard to draw a line and say it's going to be right here. But for those that are already following this process, you're already got it figured out. And then for those that are still, as you guys say it, behind that veil, they're in denial of some of these ideas. They still call it the conspiracy theories and whatnot. As they get to this undeniable point, it's going to be very hard for them. There's a lot of stubborn energy here. There's a lot of ego that is going to be, they're going to be going through the death of the ego, right? And they're going to be going through dark nights of the soul. And so it's going to take strong people like all of you to help these people through this time. That's why you've been waking up gradually, so that when a catastrophic thing of information comes out, and those that were in denial or so fixed in their spiritual, their religious structures, their political structures, and so on, it's going to be a lot for them to take. When they find out who's behind a lot of these things that are very undesirable also, it's going to take a lot for them to trust any government situation again. It's going to take a lot for them to trust any leadership, any authority figure again, because of their structures that they put so much faith in not being what they thought they were going to be. But we all know that these things are coming, and we are all here. You are all here. We're here to help move and navigate through that. And there's going to be that period of, well, we want to say, look how fast you awakened. Look how fast that happened. There are so many people fast tracking that awakening right now. They stumble across a video, they stumble across a whole network of videos that are helping them through this awakening process. And it happens literally in a couple of months versus years. And so we don't think once this starts to happen, there's enough information out there for all of these beautiful souls that are going to be taken a little by surprise. They're going to have the information. They're going to have what they need to work their way through it as well. So it'll all be fine. You just know that more is coming. There's more coming for this. But it is the word that we keep wanting to say. It's undeniable. They can't debunk this. They can't push this one away. They can't sweep it under the carpet, right? So, and we talked
Interesting.
about that with more of the UFO sightings were going to happen, and more people are posting pictures and feeling the energy of the ships and interacting in this way, and more people are paying attention to the skies and to the different things that are going on. Some people are getting visits at night. We have heard lots of reports of beings being with people in their sleep state, and they're remembering it now. We've talked about that, ask to remember, but do it in a gentle way. Well, we're getting reports back that more and more people are starting to remember that they've been on a journey, and even remembering some of the journey that they've been on. And it's going to keep growing and being expansive like that. So again, if you are one of those that would like to remember those dreams, or those when you leave your body at night to do these other activities, wherever you're going at night, ask to remember in a gentle way. You don't want to be startled when you woke up or anything like that, because you set the intention to your third dimensional body will remember that you were on a journey. So then you create some a radical way to come back into your body that startles you. That's not always good, right? You just ask to remember in a gentle way. You want to remember where you've been. You want to remember your counsels. You want to remember the conversations. and try to do it that way, instead of, well, I want to know that I've been on a ship, and they say, okay, well, we'll just give you a rough landing when we bring you back. And so we don't want that. We want you to integrate this in a positive way and understand that you are part of a very positive influence on this planet. And we want to keep it that way, right? We don't want to scare you. We don't want you to have bad experiences.
Correct.
We are seeing, as we were talking about that opened up a doorway for us to see that there's someone in the collective. There are several in the collective who have been journeying with the mantis beings. So if that rings true to you when we said it, ask them to help you remember, because they are working with that psychic ability with you. So maybe sit in meditation and say, show me where we've gone, and connect with those mantis beings and have them take you and journey with you in that third eye, in that psychic space with you. There's quite a few of you that would be able to do that quite easily, actually.
Perfect. It was very interesting when you was talking about the awareness for each individual. Each individual is going to experience a different level of awareness or awakening, because I guess to someone that's already been looking into it for years, and what they see now is nothing new to them. Now it's good, it's exciting, but nothing new to the individual that's been looking into it for years, versus someone that's never been looking into it, and they see the stuff on the news, they're like, huh, what's this all about? This is all new to me. So is there a reason for all this awareness and awakening to UFOs and all this information coming forward? Is there a purpose for it?
Well, it's our understanding that there was a time frame given, and that if your governments and your private parties that were in awareness of the extraterrestrial interaction of your planet, if they did not come forward with it, that these collectives were going to let the people know, because the people have been under this other influence for so long, and they don't want people to know the truth. They don't want people to know how wonderful and bright and connected they are, because then they won't do the work for them anymore, right? And people will realize that they don't need all the things that they think they need, that they've been convinced that they need. They will realize they don't need it. If you only had to work for what was necessary, your bills would go way down, wouldn't they? And so there would be a shift in that power structure. And so it is time for that to happen. You can't get to 5D if you still feel like you have to be in service to the monetary system, because who do you know that's truly happy with that? Even those who have lots of money are stressed out about the money because they got to figure out what to do with lots of money. And so the monetary system the structure that there is in play now, we would like to say that there is a very, very small percentage of people who are actually liking the monetary system, right? It is restricting to most people. And so, or it is stressful to others who are handling too much of it, right? Or large volumes of it. They don't know what to do with it. So what we want to say is these structures, they're needing to go in order for people to raise their frequencies up. When you're not worried about money, if you didn't have to worry about paying bills or mortgage or car payments or whatever else, tuition, whatever it is that you have, that you are paying every month when you, or day that you go to the mailbox and grab that stack of mail out of there, if it's
There's a
stressing
bill.
you out, yes, it's a very stressful thing. And so if you were to not ever have to deal with that again, how would that feel? Would it feel to just know that you are taken care of and that everything is provided for you? And feel like a kid again, right?
Absolutely.
That's right. And so that is the energy that construct is the construct that we would like to see more of, because that is going to help people reach that fifth dimensional frequency, raise their vibration out of fear, and move them into feeling safe and taken care of. They'll still know that they have duties and jobs to do, but they're all being taken care of during this time. And they don't have to worry that they're not going to make their mortgage, or that their car is going to be repoed, or any of the things. Is there going to be food on the table tonight? They'll be taken care of. Everyone will be fine. It's not to say that other structures that are in play in this world are better, but if you were to keep your mind open to the idea of how nice it would feel to not have to worry about the things you worry about, that's how you're going to create a change that's going to bring you a very positive solution to those problems.
Interesting.
Yes, it may even come in surprising ways where you'll be like, oh, who would have thought that this would be the answer?
Exciting. Very exciting stuff.
Yes, good things coming.
Well, very exciting, as I said, and it should be interesting to see what happens. I think in July 26th, someone else is supposed to come forward with some information. So hopefully they got some pretty interesting things to say. So with that, I would like to ask you, is there anything you would like to share to the collective? I don't know how Tracie is feeling, but it's almost about that time. So I don't know if you wanted to share anything else on the back end for the collective.
Let's look and make sure there's not any other information.
I know you talked about the mantis beings, but is there anything else?
We're not seeing anything. We're seeing green. We're seeing green. The color green. So what does that mean? Why do we see the green? Feels like there is. I'm not sure what to say with this. This energy feels like it's other planetary energy. Doesn't feel like Earth. And it feels like there are connections that are being made from many of these star systems with the collective that is listening right now, with the people that are listening to this video. There are, oh, very nice. Okay, there is a next level of connection waiting for you. We say this with a lot of these videos. There are some of you that are ready to level up, and some of you have already done it, but there's a large group of beings, a large group of humans that are listening right now, that there is this frequency that is waiting for them, that is going to It's going to bring in a peace. Even if you don't understand it, you're going to be like, it doesn't matter. It's going to be okay. And it's going to bring this peace to you. So if you were seeking some peace, go ask for your connection to this energy, to this frequency that is available. Maybe that's part of the nurturing star, right? But it is this beautiful green. It's a space. It's like if you were to create a healing realm. This healing realm, we do this with clients when they come to us for the Ascension sessions. You go into a healing realm. What does your healing realm look like? And bring in this beautiful green energy of peace and set the intention to feel taken care of, to feel that peace within yourself. And just keep reminding yourself, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. So it is okay to feel safe. It's okay to feel like you're taken care of. You're going to be okay. That is what we want to believe with. And with that, Jason, thank you so much for having us again.
Thank you.
Will bring Tracie back in, and thank
Perfect.
you for orchestrating a change in how you did.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad to keep that in mind next time we can't figure out something.
That's right. And thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for being a part of our journey today and letting us be a part of yours. Okay. That's fun.
Yay.
The card reading was actually part of the change, giving us different ways to look at things. Yeah.
So the cards were coming up in your session with Daniel, and so Daniel was giving his point of view of the cards as well.
Yeah. But nice. Yeah, and using that as an example of how we took a different approach of how to look at things and get the information we needed by taking a break from doing it the way we usually do and trying something new. So, yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. Well, I think that was a cool idea to do that. And
it was fun.
Mix it up a little bit. We're going to keep that in mind next go around. Next time we have no questions to ask.
Right? We'll pull out the trusty cards.
Yes. Where are those cards?
Wonderful. So, hey, one of the things that I wanted to bring up, if you don't mind, there is a Disclosure Fest being held in Las Vegas in November, where we're going to do a QHHT panel. It'll be Julia Cannon, myself. It'll be Erica Middlemiss, Yaron DeWitt, and Holly Duckworth. And we're going to be on a QHHT panel answering questions. So that's going to be, I'm going to look this up real quick so I get the right name of it. Stairway to the Stars is what I think it is. And it's being held at the Luxor Hotel.
Oh, is it the Pyramid?
I think that might be the Pyramid. So the Luxor Hotel and Casino, November 10th, 11th, and 12th, Stairway to the Stars. You'll find it at disclosurefest.org. If you guys are interested in something like that, since we were talking about disclosure today, it kind of made me think, oh, let me put that plug in, because there's a lot of people speaking about this disclosure and the different things that are coming in. And Sarah Bressman Cosme is going to be doing a lecture there, talking about the stuff that she's discovered in her sessions and through her books. And then, yeah, there's a group of us doing our panel. I'm looking at the banner to it right now. Actually, I can share that real quick if you want.
Yes. Yes. Let's see what we're talking about.
Yeah, so there's the banner. We got Jimmy Church there, if you're familiar with him.
Oh my goodness, it's quite a few people.
We got Bashar's going to be there. Yeah, there's a lot of people. If you go to the website, there's even more people. So it's going to be fun. We got the Leo King for the astrology. I like listening to him. He's a lot of fun. But Stairway to the Stars, and you'll find it at disclosurefest.org. So just want to put that in there.
A lot of guys that I follow and read their information to and listen to are at this event.
Yeah.
I might have to make a special trip out there.
That's right.
What you thinking? Should I look into it? Should I book something November? 10th.
November 10th, 11th, and 12th. Get on it, boy.
I think that interferes with one of my cruises. I have to find out. Is this November this year, from what it sounded like?
Yes, this year. Yeah, this November.
Okay, that's not too bad. I don't think I have the cruise this year. I think it's next year.
Oh, there you go.
Might be.
Your calendar might just be open.
Might be open. Gonna have to look into it.
That's right. Yeah, one of these times we should do one of these and just hold the lecture where we pull in Daniel and ask the questions.
Absolutely. Manifest that,
Right. I know. I was excited to get asked to be on the panel, so
that's a good start.
That's a good start. Get my foot in the door, get to know some people. How do we do this if we do something else? But the QHHT sessions are really great ways for people to also get answers from their higher self, find out their origins, go into past lives. It's extraordinary stuff. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for letting me share that. That's
absolutely. I'm going to share the information down below as well, as much as I can, and also whatever link Tracie shares with me, I will share it in the description below.
Sounds good.
Exciting. And there's a possibility that I might go to this event because there's a lot of people there that I follow and I'm interested in.
That's right. So you need to go. It's just what it is.
Okay.
You're going.
Tracie's like, do it.
You're going. Yeah, I don't know why, but there's a storm coming in during your cruise, so you can't go to it. No, no, that would be awesome. I think there's going to be a lot of us there. A lot of us that I've been letting people know about this and getting a lot of feedback that would be fun. I mean, who wouldn't want to go play in Vegas and
absolutely
do this stuff? And it was right after they published this, like I knew I was already asked to be part of it, but when they launched it, that was right about the same time there was a UFO sighting in Las Vegas. Did you see that one where this UFO landed in the backyard of this family's home?
Yeah, I heard about it. So an event was going on when that happened?
No, it was just their back. They had like it looked like they had two lots almost, and that back lot was like a gravel lot that they parked.
Yes, construction yard
and stuff. Yeah, and it landed back there. And then I just heard a little bit about it, and then it's like everything. It was like this thing that should have been this great big deal. It's like, where did that go? I'm sure if I looked it up, I would find it, but it wasn't broadcasted like everything else is. But yeah. So,
nice.
But it was right around the same time that they launched this Disclosure Fest for Vegas, and then here's the ship, and it's like, ooh, they're getting ready for us. They're gonna come show themselves. So
yeah, got to get acclimated to the weather, the temperature, the air, the water. Got to get acclimated, get their bodysuits going.
That's right.
So this is pretty cool. So it's at the Luxor Hotel, and this is the one with the pyramid. Cool. And the obelisk and all that stuff. So that's pretty neat because there was a show where a meeting was taking place, and it was at this hotel, and I always thought it was neat that it was a pyramid. So I was like, I saw pictures of the inside, but I always wondered how that was all set up. So that's pretty cool. So I don't know if the conference is there. You think the conference is inside the pyramid, or is it in a building next to it? What you think?
I don't know. They make it like it's there.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Another thing that's pretty cool that I wanted to see that's in Vegas is the sphere, the new sphere that they built with the LED screens and all that. So that looks pretty cool. Interesting.
Would be amazing. Yeah. Yeah, so when you come, you may want to extend your trip so you can go do a lot of other things too. You can't see Vegas in just one day.
Absolutely. Well, before we wrap it up, I know we got so excited about this Disclosure Fest. Was there anything else did you see on your side? I know we were talking about the aliens and the ships, the UFOs, Lemurian energy. Was there anything else you would like to share that you were seeing on your side?
Just that the star was really bright, and then I could see the rays coming off of it that were coming into our atmosphere. The green energy kind of reminded me of like an aloe vera plant. It was the way it was coming in, and that's why it was confusing. Like, what is this energy? But then it felt so, this is going to sound funny now. It felt so soothing, like an aloe vera plant, right? um, Interesting. Maybe it's the planet of aloe vera oils. But anyways, it was just this really comforting, grounded, safe feeling. And we don't realize we don't feel that way until we feel that way. And it's like, oh, I didn't realize how I didn't really feel that way. But this energy made me feel very safe and grounded and protected. And so it would be a really good energy to tune into, try to get more focused on that versus, the stuff that isn't working, the gaps in things where you're struggling, wherever it is. So could be a nice place to go. You were still looking at the Luxor, weren't you? You were booking your hotel and lining
Yes,
it
I
up.
was in the middle of booking and like looking up flights.
Yes, I just seen Sarah posted it too, and she's got the picture that's actually Julia Cannon. And so yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Perfect. Well, if you're going to be on a panel, that's still awesome news. You're still going to be up there. You're still going to have about what, 5,000, 6,000 people looking at you,
or more. Everybody come. Let's all do it.
And
then I'll be like, I'm not used to all these people. I'm used to just seeing Jason.
Jason, help.
Hello.
Yeah, you're gonna take that microphone, you're gonna be like this.
Yep. Got nothing. No comment.
Awesome. That is great. Well, you heard it from Tracie. So if you're interested in seeing her speak on a panel, she is going to be at this event, Disclosure Fest at the Luxor Hotel. Very exciting stuff. That's pretty cool. I am glad you talked about that. I am interested. Absolutely. Yeah. And there's a person here with the ancient crystal skull and trivia question. That's kind of the thing that brought me down this rabbit hole of enlightenment and QHHT. So without that book, I don't think we would be having these conversations. And Holly Duckworth is going to be on the panel as well. So she was on one of the videos, The New Earth versus the New World Order. So she was one of the, I forgot what episode, I don't know off the top of my head, maybe episode 5, if I'm not mistaken. So she was on one of my videos as well. So that is pretty cool. So very familiar faces. Yeah,
I just think it's, it's kind of a fun place to be anyways. And so I think it's just going to add to that. Like there's so much fun to be had. So grab your friends and come to Vegas and let's start disclosing things.
Yeah, right? Interesting.
What plus happens Vegas goes home with you this time. You're going to share it. You're going to talk about it.
Plus Vegas is a fun time anyway. So
it just is. Yeah. And yeah, it's an easy trip to make. So, right?
Oh yeah. Well, depending on where you live, but yeah, it wasn't that bad of a trip when I went to Vegas, flight wise. So
yeah, perfect. Yay!
All right. Well, thank you very much for everything. Thank you for the tarot card reading. Thank you for giving the reading to the collective and bringing in Daniel. So awesome time. I'm glad we talked about it and you was okay with the idea, and it was a genius idea. Another point for the genius level.
Next level stuff here. That's fun.
That was pretty cool.
You asking me to do that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So. It was something I always wanted to do for a couple of years, but we always just put it off. But I think today was the right day to do it, to explore something like that, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Brought in some good information. And I like that there was a spoiler alert that everything's going to be okay. So we'll take it.
Perfect. So to circle back to this event, disclosure event, I'm looking at some of the prices. This is a 3-day pass, a 3-day pass for $333. That's not too bad for a 3-day pass. I don't think that's a bad deal.
No, because there's so many, and when you get into it and you start seeing how many people are speaking at it and all the events that are going on and
yes. So I don't know that you have to go to the website disclosurefest.org, O-R-G, but I don't know how they break up theirs, but I don't know what this pass would get you just into just certain talks of the event and certain workshops, but definitely look into it. So very interesting stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm scrolling through the speakers and I still haven't come to the end of it yet. So that's very cool.
Oh, there's a night watch too. Fun.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. So, all right. Till next time. Hopefully, I know I've been busy. Hopefully, it doesn't take me over 2 months, 2.5 months to do another video.
That's right.
I couldn't believe that.
I'd like to
Unless
drag
I
it
have the
out.
wrong date in my book, but I can't believe it's been that long. That is crazy. So,
well,
I know June was rough for me. I mean, it was just nonstop.
Yeah. June was crazy. I had graduations and then more graduations and then and then there was a camping trip in there. I wouldn't have been available. So yeah, then we go straight into like the 4th of July and all the fun things. So yeah, this was the perfect timing for another one. Everybody's got a minute and they can listen. So it's good.
Perfect. Well, like I said, thank you very much. Thank you for everything. So I'll have this video up soon and get it rolling. So hopefully this weekend everything will go smooth this weekend.
Yes, perfect. That would be nice for all of us, right? We'll just put that as a collective. Amen. We'll do that.
So it sounds like we have some homework. We got to do some clearing out the old, getting rid of some old stuff. Feel like I've been doing that for over 2 years now, but yes. Yep. Well, I'm going to hang this up, but Tracie, don't hang up just yet. So I want to thank everybody for listening and watching this video. Thank you very much. Check out the links down below. Go to Tracie's website if you're interested in a tarot card reading. So it was pretty cool and fun. It was interesting how the cards were lining up to my own situation, but that was, I guess that's how it's supposed to go, but that was pretty neat. I do have to say, so that's the second time I ever done anything like that. So, and hopefully there'll be some more in the future.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, everybody take care. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.